Hello and welcome once again, you beautiful bastards, to another guide. I just sold some sausages. Wonderful. A gold 64. Very good. Thank you for interrupting my video. Now, we're talking about today the war build that has refreshing Pillar of Fire. What I'm talking about here is the skill that you can get on any weapon or piece of armor called Refreshing Pillar of Fire. Now what this does is reduces the ability's cooldown by 13% per enemy hit with Pillar of Fire. This is a 3 hits max. Just to go over this a little bit, this works with the double hit mechanics of Pillar of Fire. As you may have seen in my last video, I explained that Pillar of Fire right now is double hitting sometimes. When it double hits, it's still counting as one hit. So Refreshing Pillar of Fire right now, technically, if you hit 3 people and you double hit all those 3 people, this percentage will still come into play. So what that means is that the original intended CD reduction from hitting 3 people maximum is 39%. But because of the double hit mechanics, we're looking at a potential CD reduction of 78%. I've been using this in wars over Meteor Shower just because of how absolutely diabolically stupid this is. When you hit this correctly, which I'll show you in a video very soon, you can get instant cast Pillar of Fires if you hit enough people. If you get enough double hits, it's basically instant cast. It's sub 1 second cooldowns for Pillar of Fire. Now that is insane. So let's quickly have a look at what I'm talking about. Here's a video for you right now. So, as you can see, I'm getting some instant cast Pillar of Fires on these guys for free. Like, it's absolutely crazy that this is in the game. And it's very, very strong. So today, I'm going to go through the Fire Staff build that I use with Refreshing Pillar of Fire, and the Ice Gauntlet setup as well that I run in wars for this build. Let's have a look at the Fire Staff and how I've set it up. So, I've gone Pillar of Fire all the way down to Arson's Advantage. Reason for this is because you gain 10% of your maximum mana per enemy hit by Pillar of Fire. Amazing for mana regeneration. You never have any mana issues during a war. You don't even really need to use pots at any stage during the war. Just really, really good all around. And you're getting the refreshing as well. So you're going to be spamming this, getting lots and lots of mana, lots and lots of damage. It's pretty much built the same way as my previous video. I'll have the builds down in the description below. You can just click on those and have a look at this on New World Database. So that's not a problem. Then we've got Fireball here, just with the first passive. I run the first passive just because the Burning Field lasts for 9 seconds. There's a lot of lag in wars, so having that persist for a little longer, getting an extra couple of ticks of damage, burning damage there, doesn't hurt anybody. It's good. Runes of Helios, of course, we always run that. Really, really good. You can stand in your own, or you can stand in another mage's. I only just found that out not too long ago. That's probably common knowledge to most people right now, but for me, yeah, no, I didn't know that. So if you stand in another mage's Runes of Helios, they're getting the damage buff as well. So really good for you and your other fellow mages. On the other side, exactly the same Pyromancer. Nothing really special here. You've got Burnout all the way down. You mainly using Burnout just to get out of gravity wells or to get out of off someone trying to like hit you in the backline, trying to get you out of the game. So really, really good to have Burnout as well. Alright, now over to the Ice Gauntlet. Now you may see something that's a bit strange here, but there is reason for it, okay? I understand that I have this skill right here, Ice Spikes, which we are not using at all, but I will explain that to you right now. So, in the left side, we're aiming to get Ultimate Chill. This is absolutely crazy. Ice abilities chills targets, increasing damage done by 35% for 3 seconds. Very, very valuable, right? Reason I have this is because if you don't have that and you don't have this passive, then you don't have enough points to be able to come down into Ultimate Chill. Reason I don't have Punishing Storm is because at the moment, when you run that passive, your Ice Storm disappears if you switch weapon. Now, because Pillar of Fire is coming up so quickly and your other cooldowns are coming up so quickly, you don't want to be staying on your Ice Gauntlet to wait out your Ice Storm, when you could potentially be switching to your Fire Stuff and getting way more damage out of your Pillar of Fire, Fireball, and even your Burnout in certain situations. So you don't want to be stuck in your Ice Gauntlet because of this passive. So I've removed the passive and I've put one into Ice Spikes, which, yes, is a bit of a waste of a point, but this is so valuable that it's worth it. Then you're over on the right side. You've got your Ice Shower, of course, really, really good at zoning people out if you're switching points, like when they're running from one point to another, and you are as well. You can drop an Ice Shower, they get caught in it, and you just run to the next point. Really good at like peeling yourself away from situations as well. Like if there's someone like a melee guy swinging on you, you just Ice Shower them, burn out away, and then you're all good. I've increased it to 7 seconds instead of, 4 seconds. So I've increased it to 7. I think it's really valuable to have it increased in Wars, even out in the open world, to be honest with you. I'm only level 19, Ice Gauntlet still. Yes, since the last video, don't give me shit. I understand, right? But then I've gone into these passives here. So increase speed. We're getting some money today, boys. Increase speed by 10% in a frosted area. Regain 3 mana for each spell while cast in a frosted area. Pretty okay. Defiant Freeze, which is casting an ice ability, creates an ice hardened layer granting 20% fortify for 2 seconds. Really good in Wars, 20% fortify. You want to have as much damage mitigation as possible in Wars because you can be bursted down if you get too close to the point. You can be bursted down within a second sometimes. So you really want to have that for all the time. Not seen here is Frozen Touch. That's where I would go for the last point. You'll see in the description below, as I said before, you can click that, you can check it out. That's where I've put the point. Just because if you're playing off point as a mage and you're playing kind of around the point, you're going to be at 100% health quite a lot of the time. So if any melee comes up and hits you, they're slowed for 25% for 2 seconds and you've got that opportunity to get away. Last thing here is I've got Entomb. Entomb is fantastic. I've got it so it increases your defense by 25% for 3 seconds after breaking out of it as well, which is really good. As I was saying before, the more damage mitigation you have in Wars, the better. Entomb is a really good escape ability as well. You can just Entomb and dodge roll out of your Entomb to get away from players, to stop them from even thinking about you. I've been in Wars sometimes where I've Entombed and they've literally just diverted to someone else. They've just completely forgot about me. So Entomb's really strong. It's good at like getting on the point as well if you need to push harder and you need to get on the point as a mage at some point. So really good skill, definitely worth taking. Let's have a look at the gear and the setup that I've got and a couple of other setups that you may want to run depending on your playstyle. Having base level faction gear for every single piece is extremely important. The reason why for this is because the resilient perk right now isn't just working for critical hits, it's working for all damage. So if you were to have a full set of faction gear, you're looking at 22.5% damage mitigation for the entire war. That's massive. That's huge. Even if it wasn't all damage and it was, as it says, critical hits only, that's still a very strong thing to have in PvP. That damage mitigation means a lot. I am in the medium category here, as you can see. You can go into the light category if you would like, with like a medium chest plate and the rest being light, or whatever combination that you want. But I chose to do medium to test it out to see what type of damage mitigation I got, and it proved to be a lot better. The only thing is that your mobility is slightly hindered. But the benefit of having that slightly hindered mobility is that you get 3 dodges. Now in your attributes, as I will show you here, in your attributes, in your intelligence tree, once you hit 200 intelligence, you get 10% mana after a dodge. So this is really, really important because that is more of your mana regen on top of the Pillar of Fire. Now, if you're running full faction gear, I would suggest putting diamonds into it because it gives you physical and elemental damage absorption, and their armor rating for elemental and physical are the same. But if you are running the same gear setup as me with the Voidbent's armor rating for physical is quite low. Now I'm going to be changing my diamonds that I have currently in this gear to Onyx just to level that out a little bit. So then if I'm in the war and then someone comes swinging on me, that I still have that physical resistance that I should have if the gear was equal. So for your jewelry, I don't have the ideal setup right now. I've kind of got like a little bit of a scuffed one because I haven't found any jewelry with the stats that I would like on it. But at the moment on my amulet, I've got, you take 4.4% less ice damage, which is great. I would prefer fire because there's a lot of fire damage that goes out in wars and it will really, really help you. But frozen isn't that bad either. There's a lot of ice storms going out. So, I mean, it helps a little bit. On the ring, I've got refreshing. Really important that you try and get refreshing on your jewelry as well if you can. That'll really help you to CDs as well. It says that you deal 4.5% more ice damage as well. I'd prefer fire, but I think they're quite close together. So having ice or fire, I don't think it really matters, but I think fire pulls ahead in this build specifically just because of the Pillar of Fire refresh. So if you can get the extra fire damage, that's great. And then same with your earrings. If you aim for that, that'll be good. So let's have a look at my weapons and what gems I have in those. For the fire staff, we've got the opal, very good. 15% damage while your stamina is not full. Your stamina shouldn't be full almost at any time during a war. So you're basically getting a 15% damage increase permanently. You're going to be dodging to get your mana back. You're going to be dodging away from the enemies and their abilities, depending on where you're positioned. So this is just a free 15% damage for your fire staff and all its abilities. So definitely worth going the opal here. Then for the Ice Gauntlet, I'm running a Malachite. This is 12% damage against targets with an active crowd control status effect. This works for other people as well. So if other people have CC'd the enemy, you're still getting the 12% damage increase. So this is just a flat 12% damage increase for your Ice Gauntlet and all its abilities. I know I have ruinous siege damage. Don't judge my Ice Gauntlet. It's got a bit. Anyway, moving on. Can I get a supper? Let's get into the attributes. I go for 300 intelligence here. You just cap it out at that. Really good. You get a bunch of good perks for this. One of them being the elemental damage. Really good. 15% increase to your elemental damage. You're always doing elemental damage, so that's really, really good. 10% mana after a dodge, which I spoke about earlier. This is really good. Mana regeneration. In the medium category, you're getting 3 dodges. If you're in the light category, if that's where you wanted to go, you've got 2, but it's still really, really good. And then obviously you've got 30% duration to damage over time spells. Nice little increase of damage there. And then 30% damage on the first hit. That's not too important, but definitely the dodge ones, the elemental damage, and your duration to damage over time spells, really strong right now. So definitely worth having. So just 300 there. Then I'll put the rest into Constitution. I would say that you need a minimum of 110. I've got 127. You need a minimum of 110 because you can use buff food to get 40 con during a war, which will get you the minus 10% to crit damage taken. So that's on top of your resilience. So you're getting a lot more damage reduction as well. So I use buff food just to bring that up to that pip. Eventually I should be able to get to there just through attributes only. Lastly, let's just go over a couple of tips to help you improve in your war. So first tip, you always want to be dodging. Like, look how much mana I'm getting. I got those 3 dodges and now I've gone straight back up to 90. I can be spamming my abilities. I can do whatever I want. Do all this. Always be dodging. Always be dodging. Look at this. I'm going all the way up. That's not even with my heavy attacks in between. Like, my heavy attacks are going to be giving me mana as well. So I can spam all these abilities, just do whatever, and then I get my heavy attacks off as well. That's going, get heavy attack dodge, and you're almost all the way up to 100%. You will never need to have to use your mana pots if you are playing correctly in a war. You should be dodging all the time. You should be getting your heavy attacks off, even with your Ice Gauntlet as well. Which leads me into my next tip. So you should always be using your heavy attacks, not your light attacks, on your fire staff and on your Ice Gauntlet. The reason being, as I've said in previous videos, is that the projectile for the fire staff and the Ice Gauntlet is smaller for your light attacks and bigger for your heavy. So you can see that I'm using my light attacks and it's not hitting the dummy. Now, when I use my heavy, I'm getting hits. You should always be using heavies. Fire staff is going to give you mana regeneration as well, as you just heard. So it's going to get more value out of it. You have more chance of hitting the character and you're doing more damage. So heavy attacks are super important. Last but not least, always be using your buff food I use the roasted rabbit with seasoned vegetables. It increases your constitution by 40 for 40 minutes. So the entire war, you're going to have this buff. So very important to do that as well, as shown on screen. Just buy these from the trading post, make them yourself, or do whatever. That's all for this video. If you have any questions about the build or anything that you think that I may have missed that you might want to know about, comment down below. I'll reply to absolutely every single one of you legends. So I'll see you in the next one.